Welcome to the Science of Academic Success. Do you ever feel a bit unmotivated? Don't see the point of schoolwork? And does that lack of motivation negatively impact your success? In this video, we're going to discuss how to use the science of motivation to drive our academic success in university. By the end of this video, I hope you will have discovered a way to overcome any motivational deficits. In part 2 of this motivation discussion, we'll dig into what the research says about different motivational factors, and we'll discuss how to apply these to our own efforts in university. But first, we need to discuss something that is a crucial factor for our motivation and, by extension, our academic success. And that is the reason why we're doing all this work. Bear with me here, because clarifying this issue will become a valuable tool in our motivational toolkit. Another way to frame this is with the question, what is the real purpose of a university education? To provide a bit of context, let's quickly take a look at the findings of 2 large national surveys of employers in the United States. Researchers asked employers to identify what factors led them to hire, promote, or fire employees. A number of things were identified, but here are just a few of the relevant findings. When looking to hire an employee, employers indicated that they valued a balance of both field-specific skills, deep learning in your major, as well as a broad range of knowledge and skills, which you get from your electives. Employers indicated that having both of these was the best preparation for long-term career success. Employers also identified specific skills that led to hiring and promotion of employees, including things such as being able to effectively communicate orally and in writing, critical thinking and analytical reasoning skills, being able to work as part of a team, ethical judgment, and the ability to apply knowledge and skills to real-world settings. Things that led an employer to fire an employee included behaviors such as lack of work effort, unethical behavior, failure to follow instructions, missing deadlines, being late, etc. Okay, so why are we talking about all this? Well, it turns out that these career skills fit nicely with what we're doing in university. The university is not just randomly torturing you, it's all part of a plan. Universities have degree-level expectations, or DLEs, which are higher-order learning outcomes that are expected from your university degree. I don't want to get off track discussing all of the various DLEs, but suffice to say that many of these overlap with what employers indicated they were looking for when hiring and promoting employees. One DLE is that students will develop fluency within their discipline, being able to use the ideas and techniques within that discipline, being able to evaluate evidence and apply knowledge as an expert in that field. Another is that students will have the ability to think about concepts and problems from a variety of different perspectives, i.e. those electives, having had exposure to different ways of evaluating evidence, processing information, and framing arguments. Other DLEs include things such as being able to handle multiple demands on your time, managing challenges, maintaining focus and showing commitment to your work, being able to process and analyze difficult information, evaluate evidence, form conclusions, and apply that information to real-world problems. The broad level outcomes of your degree match the skills that are most valued by future employers. But note, the focus of all this, both the employer expectations as well as the DLEs, is on the process, being able to think, learn, and communicate, not necessarily on the content, the specific facts. Now, I do agree that getting a job isn't necessarily the only purpose of getting a degree, but let's be real. However, if we don't necessarily want to focus on just employability, then it's also fair to say that all of the above outcomes are generally just useful life skills. They help us to be a better citizen and a better person. What does this mean? When you're taking a course and you're being asked to learn all this information and then communicate your mastery of the content through exams, papers, and presentations, the objective isn't necessarily the specific facts that you're learning. The objective is to develop your ability to learn. Your ability to critically process, analyze, and integrate information, draw conclusions, formulate new ideas and solutions, apply these to real-world problems, and communicate all of this to an audience. Plus, manage multiple demands on your time, fulfill your responsibilities, and develop your ability to work with others. Now, before you write letters, allow me to defend the learning of facts. Although I am saying that the DLEs are more focused on thinking and communicating rather than specific facts, let's acknowledge that there is some necessary learning of some foundational content. In your major, your discipline, you're learning how to think and process information from the perspective of that discipline, learning how to think like an engineer, a chemist, a psychological researcher, etc. This certainly will involve knowing and understanding some facts. If you're working as an engineer, it is helpful to know that things such as tensile strength and ductility exist. That's foundational knowledge for bridge building, even if you have to look up the specific number of the yield point for a specific type of building material. This is why you would hire someone with an engineering degree to construct a bridge. They know the language of bridge building and how to use the information. Let's get back to our discussion of motivation, and it'll be helpful to use an analogy. What is the purpose of exercise? The purpose of going out for a run isn't to get somewhere. The purpose is to exercise the body. Same thing with lifting weights at the gym. The purpose isn't to pick things up, it's to build muscle. And it can be helpful to think of the university as a gym for your mind. There are a few ways that this analogy is useful. In both cases, gym and university, you are paying for the opportunity to work. When you buy a gym membership, you are paying for an opportunity to show up and work out. Your muscles only grow when challenged. In both cases, the harder and smarter you work, the better your results. If you don't show up, you don't benefit. If you stand around on your phone the entire time, nothing happens. This analogy really brings home the point of the research we were discussing earlier. The degree level expectations, the learning outcomes of your degree, and what the employers indicated they valued were both focused on your ability to learn, think, and communicate. They weren't really focused on specific facts. Therefore, those specific facts that you may be learning in any course are not necessarily the main objective of that course. But let's acknowledge that sometimes some of those specific facts are important. Those specific facts may just be a means for achieving the real objectives, developing your abilities to process, integrate, master, and apply knowledge. Just as lifting a weight in the gym isn't the real objective, but rather it is a means of developing your physical fitness. What is the takeaway from all this? When you're being tested on the facts of the course content, this is a means of testing the degree to which you have developed your ability to learn, your ability to process, analyze, integrate, and apply knowledge. Understanding this idea about the nature of your university education is crucial for your motivation. Because in terms of motivation, we may not always be passionate and engaged with every course that we're taking in university, or with every detail of every course, just as we may not be engaged with every aspect of our career. And that's even true for people who are fortunate enough to have a career in a field in which they are passionate. When this happens, our strategy should be to look for some other way to value the work we're doing, to get us engaged in the particular project we're working on at the time. We can reframe a project or exam as a stepping stone on the journey toward our ultimate goals. Or we can focus on the parts of the course or project that are helping us to develop some functional skills that we'll be able to make use of later on in our career. This sort of reframing can help us to keep motivated because we're keeping focused on our valued long-term goals, as well as keeping focused on the sometimes hidden value of the work in which we are currently engaged. Now, let's turn to an examination of the research on motivation and discuss how we can use these motivational factors to drive our academic success in university. This part of the conversation can be found in part 2 of this video. Thanks for watching.